Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're breaking down the shockingly dynamic American Express Q2 2026 earnings report. I mean, when you think of legacy financial institutions, rapid, youth-driven momentum probably isn't the first phrase that pops into your head, right? But today, we're going to see exactly how a 170-year-old brand isn't just surviving out there. It is absolutely thriving and evolving in today's economy.
So let's dive right into this mystery. The big, straightforward question we have to ask is, how exactly does this historic powerhouse manage to accelerate its momentum in a macroeconomic environment that's, well, frankly, pretty full of uncertainty? What's the secret engine actually powering this kind of consistent upward trajectory?
Well, the big picture answer is pretty undeniable. We're looking at a massive 11% year-over-year growth in earnings per share, hitting $4.53. And they paired that with a record-breaking 10% jump in revenue, pulling in a staggering $19.6 billion just this quarter. To put that into perspective, these aren't just your standard incremental bumps. These are huge, massive leaps for a company of this size.
To really grasp how they pulled this off, we're going to quickly unpack 5 key drivers: top-line growth, the Gen Z consumer boom, global and commercial expansion, premium fees, and finally, credit health.
All right, starting with Section 1. Top-line growth, accelerating momentum. Let's take a look at the strategic moves driving this huge revenue surge.
Amex's aggressive expansion strategy really proves they aren't just sitting back resting on transaction fees. No, they are building a full-blown lifestyle ecosystem. We're talking about raising their full-year revenue growth guidance to 10%, a proposed acquisition of TheFork and its massive network of 50,000 restaurants, and seamlessly integrating Apple Pay alongside big global brands like Fanatics. They're basically weaving their card into literally every single aspect of consumer life.
Moving on to Section 2. The Gen Z consumer boom, a demographic shift. When we zoom in on the specific consumers actually driving these numbers, the demographics might totally shock you.
Just look at the staggering contrast in these growth rates. In U.S. consumer services, spending growth from Gen Z consumers is sitting at 40% year over year. Think about that, 40%. Compare that to the steady, predictable 5% growth we're seeing from baby boomers. You know the whole narrative that premium credit cards are strictly for older, established generations? It's being completely flipped on its head right here.
And this translates directly into new acquisitions. A massive 65% of all new global consumer accounts are coming straight from millennials and Gen Z. This definitively proves this is not just some localized trend. It's a global, youth-powered movement. American Express has successfully rebranded itself to capture the spending power of the future right here, right now.
Now for Section 3, global and commercial expansion, diverse growth engines. Consumer spending is only one side of the coin, so let's see how this builds across their different business segments.
What we're seeing is a really beautiful balance of stability and rapid scaling. The U.S. commercial sector, which is primarily made up of small and mid-sized businesses, provided a highly stable 5% growth. But then, the international card services segment rapidly outpaced the domestic side with a blazing 12% growth across both consumer and commercial lines. So, they're successfully exporting their model to eager new overseas markets to brilliantly supplement that steady domestic base.
All right, Section 4, premium fees and accounts, the subscription economy. Let's uncover the actual financial mechanism turning this younger user base into highly profitable, predictable revenue.
This number here is absolutely vital. 75% of all global new accounts acquired in Q2 were on fee-paying products. I want you to really think about that in the context of our Gen Z data. It shows a profound willingness from these younger users to pay up front for premium value, perks, and experiences. They aren't just signing up for free cards. It's like they're buying into the ecosystem like a premium subscription.
And this sustained demand for premium products, well, it's driven net card fees to an astonishing $2.86 billion this quarter alone. Just look at the consistency here. They've maintained an incredibly strong 17% compound annual growth rate in net card fees since 2019. By treating their cards almost like high-value subscriptions, they've created a revenue stream that is highly resilient and, frankly, incredibly lucrative.
Finally, Section 5, credit health and stability, managing risk. We've got to ask the tough question. Does all this rapid, youth-driven expansion come at the cost of credit safety?
To figure out the actual risk Amex is taking on, we need to look at net write-off rates. Essentially, this is the percentage of average card balances expected to go unpaid and just be written off as a total loss.
It's an absolutely crucial metric for evaluating how much risk a credit company is truly taking on to fuel all this growth.
So despite this massive influx of younger users, we're seeing a flat 2.0% net write-off rate alongside a declining 1.2% rate for accounts 30-plus days past due. This proves that their overall credit health remains fundamentally rock solid. They absolutely aren't lowering their guard. Their underwriting standards remain exceptionally tight.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a provocative thought. If a 170-year-old brand can pull off its absolute best quarters by convincing Gen Z to pay premium, upfront fees, what does that mean for the future of wealth, brand loyalty, and spending? The next generation is already commanding the economy, and the companies that actually recognize that are the ones reaping the ultimate rewards. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and hey, keep questioning the data.